So we weren't necessarily going to make a video about our new tires on our camper, but a lot of people online are stupid, and I don't agree with them. So we are going to make our own video and my opinions on tires and what to look for when you buy a tire. But first, we're going to show you why we got new tires.
I was driving behind Cam in the Audi because he's driving the truck and camper and all of that. And then all of a sudden, like, this tire just like comes flying at me. No, I shouldn't say it. Like, tire shreds come flying at me, and I was like, what the heck was that? I call him. I'm like, either you just blew a tire or you ran over a tire. But anyway, we just got to the dump station, only a couple of miles, like 6 miles I think, past like this whole incident, and we were looking at all the tires, and there definitely
You're explaining this way too long.
Turns out that we did kind of blow a tire. The treads on one of the tires came off completely. So we're glad that it didn't like completely blow up, but it was just kind of a matter of time, because for all the miles that we've put on, that something like this was bound to happen. So luckily we have a spare. That just makes things a little bit more interesting, that's for sure. As you probably can imagine, this isn't exactly how we wanted to spend our afternoon, but I mean, at least we're at like a nice rest stop and not like on the side of the road. So it could definitely be worse, but then again, nobody really likes having tire issues while they're traveling.
Ready, set, go.
What is this, like a NASCAR pit stop or something? So one of the cool things of at least changing tires on your camper is that they have their own built-in jacks. See? You can lift them up far enough where you could get the tire off. No problemo. We were gonna use the bottle jack down there, but it's not functioning.
A pin. So didn't do us much good.
So then we just opted for the camper jacks anyway. Yeah, but it's not supposed to look like that. It's broken. Whoa! What? How does that? What? I didn't know that's how you got it down.
Yep.
That's fancy.
You ready to blow our spare?
Shut up.
Because it's only a 10 ply.
It doesn't even have the same rim. That's dumb. So a slight problem with the spare.
Now we have to take it off, bring it up there to the Can-Am where we have an air compressor.
It's pretty flat.
Yeah, 35 PSI.
Yeah, 35 PSI. That's not gonna fly. So, because our big air compressor is broken, but luckily we still have the little Can-Am one. So we have to take off this tire, bring it up to the Can-Am, and then put it back on. I looked. It took you 9 minutes. It took you 9 minutes to change the tire, but now it's going to probably take 20 more to just air up the tire. Are you trying to figure out how to connect the little air compressor to somewhere not on the Can-Am? Because that's what that face looks like. Not quite there. Okay, so what exactly are you even doing?
I'm connecting our air compressor on our camper.
Air compressor on the camper.
To the... No, wait. It's not gonna work. Fuck.
See, this is why you tell me things, so you can hear the plan out loud.
Shit. I built this hose specifically for filling up tires, and it's not going to connect to that hose. If I don't use this hose at the end, then I'm not going to have a way to connect to the... Well, I guess I do have another thing.
Don't even ask me what all of that meant. I'm usually pretty good at deciphering, but even I don't know what all that was about. In your head gibberish?
Yeah.
So I guess instead of just like taking off the tire and like doing that whole business, Cam came up with the genius idea to just take the hose, the big hose reel off the camper compressor and then hook it up to the little compressor so we have enough hose to get back to the tire. Put the wrong end on.
Yeah, like a dummy.
I don't know. Do you think it'll reach?
Yes.
long do you think it'll take to fill on that little air compressor?
A while.
What's it at?
60.
Another 20 more to go.
Yeah.
So the little air compressor actually did amazing. It didn't quite fill it up all the way. It's at like 72 PSI or something, and the tire's rated for 80. So we're actually gonna go to a truck stop and fill up the rest of it. But honestly, for that little air compressor, it didn't take that long, and it got it like almost all the way. I'm like super impressed. For what turned into like a 10-minute tire change, I think has been like half an hour now. So, I mean,
Well, yeah,
still not that
I
bad.
had to take the hose reel off of the other air compressor that doesn't work anymore and put a different end on it to use it with that other air compressor. So yeah, half hour, that's not too bad.
It's not too bad. Okay.
Right.
Off to the truck stop.
Let's go. Let's talk tires. We have a lot of tires.
Let's see.
Let's see.
Let's see. We have
How many times can you say let's see?
6 on the truck.
Wow, that was real struggle for you.
6 on the truck.
4 on the Can-Am.
10. 6 more on the camper. It's 12. 6. Wow. No, I was saying 6. 6 for the truck and 6 for the camper. Maybe we should just start over. So how many tires in total is that then? 6, 12, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, 20 tires.
We have 20 tires, not including spares. And before we started traveling, I dealt with tires all the time, driving semis and working road construction.
So let me guess, you probably know a thing or two about picking the right tires for your rig?
Yeah.
So what's like the first thing you look for? Like, how do you narrow down your tire search?
Well, all right, let's get this straight. Everybody is all about like, they buy a camper and they're like, oh, China bombs, gotta get them swapped out. Well, that may be true, but it's not necessarily for the reason you think. Like, everybody is all like, oh, they're made in China, so they're bad tires. Not necessarily. I'm not saying China has good tires or anything, but the region that they're from isn't your main factor. Your main factor is your load rating, which I feel like most people ignore. They go and they're just like, oh,
it's this size tire, and that just must mean that it's the right tire for whatever you're using.
Yeah, and that's not true. Like, a lot of people will buy a camper and they'll be like, oh, I gotta go put Goodyear Endurance tires on it. If you buy this camper, don't put Goodyear Endurance tires on it, because they don't sell them with a high enough load rating on them.
So what kind of load ratings are there?
Okay, so for instance, on the camper, if you were to just buy what most people tell you to buy, which is like a Goodyear Endurance, they only sell them in a 10 ply, which is a load rating E. But that's not really anything. It doesn't mean anything. That just means how many plies are on the tire, which a load range E is like a 10 ply tire.
So how many plies are you looking? Like, how many do you want?
It depends on what trailer you have. I'm just using this as an example because everybody says to use this tire. The Goodyear tire that fits this size is load range E, but the tire load index, which is really what matters, is only 123. So on the chart, if you look at 123, it's only rated for 3,417 pounds. And these are 7,000 pound axles. If you take 3,417 times it by 2, it's not quite 7,000 pounds. It's close, but it's not quite. But you don't want to be under 7,000 pounds. You want to be over 7,000 pounds so that every axle, your limiting factor is not your tires. Because that's the worst thing to happen, is have a tire blow out from overweight. So our tires that we bought are a 132, which we actually went up in tire size a little bit to get a higher index. But ours are a 132, so they can handle 4,409 pounds per tire. Another thing you need to pay attention to when you're buying tires is the date code, especially if you're buying tires online. It's not as big of a deal if you're buying tires from like a tire shop or something, but a lot of the online places, they'll give you really old tires. Every tire has a date code on it. Pay attention to that when you buy your tires. You don't want old tires. You don't want tires that have been sitting on the shelf for 3 years, 4 years.
Does that mean that like the rubber in them is like more likely to crack or something like that?
Yes, the older the tire, like, the more compromised the tread is going to be, and like
it's like
the
not going to be
itself.
like as pliable.
Yeah.
Okay.
When we got our tires, we did go up in tire size a little bit to get a higher load index. Not a higher ply, they're still the same ply. So what comes factory on this trailer is 235, 80, 16s, and they come 12 ply, which is a load range F. We put on 235 85 16s, load range G. So after the load range, you go to the load index, which is what the tire can actually carry.
So as long as your load index number is equal to or greater than your axle weight limit, you're good to go.
Should be, yes, exactly. Okay. So if you have 7K axles, you at a minimum need 10 ply, but you really should be a 12 or 14 ply because you don't want your tires to be your limiting factor.
And then have them blow out and take your fender and everything with you.
Yes, everybody's seen the pictures online.
So then I'm sure making sure your tires are inflated properly is also like a huge deal in making sure that your tires last longer and you don't have complications.
An underinflated tire is going to wear poorly and not support the load that a properly inflated tire is. And you don't want to overinflate a tire because when they get hot, the air expands and your pressure goes up. But know that when you're filling up a tire, if it says 110 psi on the tire, that's your cold pressure rating. So what do we think of these tires so far?
I don't know, you tell me.
Like I said,
they haven't blown up.
Like I said, we got Hercules H-901s in a 235 85 16, 14 ply, load range, 132 in a single wheel formation, 127 in a dual wheel formation. Obviously we're running them in singles, so it's 132.
You just rattled off all that information.
And I think we've driven them about 2,000, 3,000 miles.
I was going to say 3,000 miles.
3,000 miles, and so far they're wearing good. They're no bulges anywhere. They're really high quality tires. We really like them. Okay, so what have we been talking about this whole time? Well, first off, your date range. It's always stamped like this, 4 numbers. First 2 are the week, so the 8th week of 23. So these tires are very new. And then the next thing we're gonna look at is the ply rating, which is right here. 14 PR, 14 ply. And then besides the size, in my opinion, the single most important thing is the load index. So this is 132, 127. Now why is there 2 numbers there? It's 132 for single wheel and 127 for dual wheel. To expand on the number that I just showed you is the actual load rating. You see here it says max load rating in a single wheel formation, 4,400 pounds at 110 psi cold. So you can fill it up to 110 psi when the tire's cold.
Well, hopefully you found some of that helpful, guys, and let us know in the comments if you've had tire blowouts or what kind of tires you have on your camper, or if you have any other questions about tires. And thanks again for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe.